Hey there, friend. Thank you so much for checking out this episode 135 of the Positioning to Profit podcast. I am so honored, so happy, so grateful that you've decided to lend me your ears. Today, we are talking about personal branding and differentiation. Just how important it is, especially if you are a solopreneur, small business owner looking to build a brand, because that's where the longevity comes into play. And so there are some things that I can share with you around big brand building, having worked in big corporations, and just what that means. And then what about that is translatable to us, to the solopreneur, to the small business owner, that we can deploy and utilize as a competitive tool to stand out uniquely, right? That's what this is all about. Yes, I talk about positioning quite a bit, but today I'm going to even zero in further on the supreme importance of differentiation and what it looks like. I also have a really great story to share with you because I'm seeing more and more of the importance of celebrating the thing that makes you different. I'm over on TikTok at the Patty Dominguez, so you can check me out at the Patty Dominguez. I think if you also do a search on Positioning to Profit, I'm going to come up. So do join me over there on TikTok. I'm talking. So join me over there on TikTok. And that is the gist of the show. Really excited to share what I have for you today. Just some realizations I've been having, some aha moments, some of the epiphanies that I feel so compelled to share because I know it will help you too. Cool? All right. And so with that, let's get on with the show. And here we go. Hey there, I'm Patty Dominguez. You're about to discover what it means to position your brand and your business to stand out. This show explores the stories of small business owners just like you who are bringing their message out to the world and impacting their tribe. So if you want to take your business to a category of one status, then hang with me because this podcast shares everything you need to know about how to be more prolific with your brand so that you can have more profits. All right. Well, thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Positioning to Profit podcast. So excited to share what I have for you. The power of differentiation and just what it means. And more importantly, I think that it is so telling when we think about as we're building our brands as solopreneurs, our personal branding. And I don't mean, just for very strict clarification, I'm not talking about your logo. I'm not talking about the colors of your website or what it looks like. What I'm talking about is that innate value proposition for how you are standing out, right? Because the underlying reason for differentiation is to make your brand, yes, you are a brand. The idea is to make it different so that it is more attractive than your competitors. Because think about it, there are indirect and direct competitors that you have. Now, a direct competitor may be, let's say that you are a hypnotist or a chiropractor, okay? And somebody who has a pain in their back or somebody's trying to quit smoking, let's say, right, for the hypnotist, the person who has identified that they have a need and is considering a hypnotist is then going to be vetting out different hypnotists, right? So those are direct competitors, the other hypnotists. Indirect competitors may be where the person who is having this problem, trying to quit smoking, is also going to be looking at some other types of therapies, alternatives, such as maybe Reiki or EFT, right? Emotional freedom technique instead of hypnosis. So there's indirect and direct competitors to you. The important thing here is that you want to develop your positioning so that your premium prospects see you as unique and valuable. Here's the deal, though. The interesting side of that is that differentiation is really subjective, right? Depending from client to client, right? From brand to brand. And so it's the marketing's job, so how you're putting yourself out there, to really mold the perceptions of how you want your premium prospects to see you. And more importantly, because they are thinking and they're believing, what's in it for me? That's the only radio station that all of us are tuned into. It's really important that the benefits of how you can help them are clear. So when you stand out uniquely, or at least it seems something that's new, unique, and interesting, it's going to stand out uniquely and, in essence, you're really owning the white space, right? You're going to be not comparable to other competitors, so that you're moving away at the same time from this comparison where you're playing the price war game, as I talk about, where people are only focused like, okay, well, how much do you charge an hour? We want to stay away from that, right? We want to build on the uniqueness that we have, because that uniqueness is what's going to, in essence, help you as a competitive advantage. Let's face it, we live in a very crowded marketplace of options. And so in the absence of not focusing on differentiation, you're really left subject to commoditization. Yeah, I said it. And what I mean by that is that people are going to be basing the value of what you bring based on your pricing. They're going to be price shopping, that kind of thing, right? And so when you have differentiation that is really strong, it's also going to enhance your value proposition. And that is in it of itself very attractive. Okay, so this is where it's really, really important that you work on that differentiation, using that as a competitive advantage tool, so that you're highlighting the uniqueness of who you are, what you bring to the table. Yes, even if you don't have a widget, right? It doesn't have to be a product. You are the product, right? Your service is the product. What you bring to the table as a coach, as a persona, as a personality, that should be differentiated, and that should be super clear, okay? And so when we are in a service-based structure, we often think like, well, how do I highlight that, right? It's easy if you have a product, because you can talk about the widget or the mousetrap being faster. Somehow that's a unique design, right? So there's some tangibility in a product that is easy to say, okay, they're different. However, if you have a service in mind, well, it's a little bit different. It's not the same, but what you can do is planting the seeds of differentiation by the way that you are interacting with your premium prospect, especially on socials, etc. And of course, that includes your copywriting, any of the outreach that you're doing. In other words, any touch points, right? Any touch points of what you have. And I really got this major epiphany. I saw this woman on TikTok. Her handle is Mimi Darling Beauty. So MIMI Darling Beauty. She has 3 million followers. And what makes her so unique and so special is I believe she has a beauty brand. And what's so fascinating to me is that I just happened to come across her profile. I don't know how, right? The algorithm probably figures out what it is that I like. But what was really interesting to me is when I saw she was talking about her random act of kindness. And I love that because, yes, I am very woo. And I love these types of things of what people are sharing on TikTok. But just the idea of differentiation is so clear with her. I have a confession. Okay, and one of the things that Mimi Darling does brilliantly is that she owns the things that makes her unique. She and I have a lot in common. So here's where that confession comes into play. I grew up when I was in elementary school. I suffered trauma, and as a result of the PTSD, I developed a horrible stutter, okay? And Mimi has a horrible stutter as well. So she shows herself on TikTok where she's going through a drive-through and she's talking about another bad day and the things that give her massive anxiety and how she stutters really badly. So one of the pinned posts that she has where she's saying it's another bad day, she's going through a drive-through and she's just in full panic, full anxiety, having a horrible day because she cannot get the words out. She's completely blocking, locking. And that particular video has 68 million views. 68 million. Now, when I saw that, it really affected me in the way that I'm like, I got you, Mimi. I know exactly what you're going through, because my confession is I don't particularly enjoy talking on the phone or doing takeouts where I have to go through any kind of a drive-through. It gives me anxiety. I used to be a really bad stutterer, and through a lot of different types of treatments, I was able to overcome quite a bit. Now, I do still stutter. You still hear me on the podcast where I'll stutter, but I don't let it mean anything. I'll gloss through it. I'll mention it. I'll laugh it off. But if you only knew how painful it has been to really turn the corner and to see the evolution of what's happened as a result of that, it's been monumental in my life. So I always feel so honored when somebody says, "Oh, you're so eloquent." Anyway, when I saw this with Mimi, Darling Beauty, it just really touched my heart in such a profound way, because the comments in the comment section and the way that she owns it, and she is so differentiated. 3 million followers, 68 million people who have watched her video, who just have really connected with her at an emotional level. We're human beings. And if you can connect with somebody at an emotional level and vulnerably share the thing that makes you unique, yes, in her case, it's extremely painful. It's interesting because honestly, if somebody would have said, "Hey, put yourself out there in this way," to me, 20 years ago, there was no way, because I was so ashamed that I couldn't speak in certain situations. I couldn't say my name. It was horrible, right? So I understand what she goes through. But what I love about her is that, yes, I own that I stutter and I don't make it mean anything, but she's fully owning it and putting herself out there, warts and all. I'm bringing that up because this just goes to show you the power of differentiation, especially if you can layer that on with an emotional component. I was talking to a client of mine, talking about the 3 aspects to make sure that you are differentiated. And it's where you can tie in that emotional component, as I talked about. The other one is really showing the clear, differentiated, functional advantages of working with you, right? What is your premier prospect going to gain? And is it supremely clear of what they can gain as a result of that? And also, are you focused on painting the picture of what's possible, of the transformation, highlighting the things that are possible? It's like you're paving the way for transformation, and you're shining the light for your prospect to show them that yes, it is possible. That aspirational state that you're looking for, dear premium prospect, is most definitely possible. If you can do that in a clear and concise way, layer on emotion, layer on the functional advantages, these are all beautiful examples of differentiation. And when you look at that, this is going to develop the brand identity. It increases brand awareness, because what was so interesting in the case of this woman on TikTok, I brought it up to my kids and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've seen that lady. I mean, she's got a huge following, this and that." It's amazing, isn't it? So here's the deal. How do we translate this all back to you? Add the emotional components, and the emotional thing is just being human. What are the flaws? What are the setbacks? What are the things that maybe in the past have made you feel tremendous amount of shame, like for me, that you can just put out there and own, that it becomes these connection points for people. Telling your story, that's why they call it the hero's journey. Practicing that origin story in a way that connects profoundly so that people remember those stories, which I always find so fascinating. Then, are the advantages of working with you, is it really clear what the transformation is going to be, right? Because as I talked about, people are only focused on the channel, what's in it for me? Is it clear? Are you driving the vision of what is possible for them? Are you shining the light on that aspirational state of being, of what they're looking for? Showing them what's possible, being clear with conviction, connecting the dots for them. Because when you do that, the person, your premium prospect, is going to virtually diminish any substitutes to what you have to offer. And in fact, they may even be willing to say, "Well, I'm going to move over here by you because, man, I feel like you really get me," right? That is so powerful. You can also, as a result of that, because you're so differentiated, because it's so clear, and as you know, as the saying goes from Claude Hopkins, people are making their buying decisions based on emotion, and they're justifying with logic. You can even charge, as a result of that, a premium price, right? So that's going to increase your profit, of course, because providing price saying, oh, I'll discount it or this is on sale. You don't want to do that. That's commoditizing what it is that you do, right? You're negating the thing that makes you special, the thing that makes you so different. So this is where focusing on the thing that makes you, you, really helps to provide that uniqueness where it becomes a differentiation strategy that you can leverage, and really understanding so that the people understand your point of difference, right? Is it feasible to work with you? Is it clear what it is that you do? Is it easy to understand? And can you communicate the benefits of working with you and really focusing on what's in it for them? So yes, there is a power of differentiation that is so important in order to understand. And this is just one way that you can stand out. So I hope that helps. That was a huge lesson that became even more clear as I saw this woman and what she has been able to do to develop her brand. So check her out at Mimi Darling Beauty on TikTok. And of course, connect with me, the Patty Dominguez on TikTok. I most definitely don't have 3 million followers yet, but I'm well on my way. And I just may put myself even more authentically out there because she's taught me the lesson that just do you in a vulnerable, powerful, authentic way. And yes, there's going to be haters, but whatever to the haters. Just focus on shining the light on the thing that makes you different. It's a very, very powerful positioning strategy. I hope that helps, and I look forward to connecting with you as always. Reach out, send me a DM. Would love to hear from you directly. For more information on all the positioning goodness, go to positioningtoprofit.com. And it is an honor to have you check out this episode. And with that, thank you so much. And never, ever forget, your message matters. Hey there, thanks for checking out this episode of Positioning to Profit. Please leave a review if you have gained a benefit from this episode. I appreciate it greatly, and I will give you a shout out on the show as well. I so appreciate the ratings and reviews. Okay, also for the positioning extravaganza, head over to positioningtoprofit.com. There's lots of goodies over there. It's a treasure chest of freebies as well as beautiful courses that will help you to establish your category of one and move your brand forward. And again, connect with me over on socials or on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on the socials. So I hope to connect with you there, and I look forward to catching up with you real soon.